Now, let's be honest. Trump is the first president to confront China, which is increasingly wealthy, increasingly aggressive, largest standing army in the world. No one else has done it like him. And now there may be a major fight brewing with Mexico over trade, NAFTA, and the wall. Who's going to pay for it? My next guest is at the center of it all. And the U.S. Trade Representative Bob Lighthizer might not be a household name, but you're not going to want to miss any of this. He joins us exclusively. Mr. Lighthizer, great seeing you. Thanks for being back with us. So we read that now on this issue with NAFTA renegotiation, all these deals, I keep hearing the scuttlebutt about all these great new deals are going to start, that there's been a snag in the negotiations. And it was reported in Reuters, Washington Post, that there was a call between the president and the Mexican president, Peña Nieto, and it ended in kind of some type of testy manner. I guess the snag or the holdup was about who's going to fund the wall. I just want to play something for you. My radio listeners today chimed in on this topic of whether it matters if Mexico pays or if it's an indirect payment. Let's listen.
I'm totally in support of the president. If he can bring in much more revenue, bring in billions of dollars, and use those funds to pay for the wall, it's the heart of the deal.
I always expected my tax dollars to pay for the wall.
I never expected him to get the money directly from Mexico, but I always knew there would be a way he could get it indirectly, and I knew he would do it.
So, Mr. Ambassador, it doesn't seem like the hardcore Trump supporters care about the wall. So why should that be a snag here? It seems like the president has played this really smartly as a negotiating matter.
Well, I mean, first of all, the wall is kind of out of my lane. I stay in my lane. We have to have a wall. Beyond that, I stay in my lane. And my lane is really about trying to get new deals. It's trying to reverse a very bad trend that we've had for a long, long time in the trade area. The president ran on this. He feels strongly about it. When I talk to him, it's workers, ranchers, farmers. That's it. It's wages and it's jobs. And I think if we renegotiate that deal, if we get a good deal with Mexico and hopefully with Canada, if that's possible, we're going to find more jobs.
The biggest holdup seems to be about auto manufacturing, and that's where the lion's share of our trade deficit with Mexico is. I was shocked to just read today that 77% of Mexican manufactured vehicles that were exported came to the United States. Now, that's because there's no tariff on those because of NAFTA, correct?
That's correct.
And what will a potential deal look like regarding that type of imbalance?
The biggest part of the problem between the two countries, and from a trade point of view, is that Mexico has an industrial policy, which is a smart one. It's designed to get auto companies to move to Mexico and then ship to the U.S. You say 77%. For some companies, it's even higher. And a lot of these are companies with very little products that are made in America. So they're low U.S. content. And the kind of thing we're looking at is to have a better balance, to have a higher regional content, but also a U.S. content, and to reorganize the way we keep track of which is which. The president's objective is we have to get more jobs back to America. We have to reduce the deficit. And that will ultimately put pressure on wages and wages in the country.
But again, Global Trade, which is a big publication in the global trade arena, they say that critics will say that advanced economies have been steadily reducing the share of jobs in manufacturing. And that's really accounting for a lot of the job losses in the United States. You can nail some of them to NAFTA, but most of it is because of improving in productivity, technology changing. So we're steadily moving away from those types of manufacturing jobs. What do you say to that?
The greatest economies in the world right now are the United States, they're China, they're Germany, and they're Japan. Who says Germany and Japan don't have basically a lot of manufacturing? Now, as a percent, is it shrinking? Perhaps, but those are still great jobs, very important jobs, and they spin off wealth to thousands and millions of other people who serve the people who do the manufacturing. So to me, it's complete nonsense to say that we don't need manufacturing.
So if we have a $60 billion, $70 billion trade deficit with Mexico, we have 8 times that, maybe, with China. Last year was the biggest trade deficit, first year of the Trump administration, that we've ever had. Now you have to decide by the administration by April about what you're going to do with Chinese aluminum imports. You have concern of dumping, under market price goods, and they're now saying, well, we could retaliate on your agriculture. The sour gum coming into the United States feeds livestock, and so there's a trade war. Lighthizer, Trump are starting a trade war. It's going to be a nightmare. And you say?
The response that we're going to start a trade war is nonsense. We have a very, very imbalanced relationship with China. And once again, it's not based on basic economics. It's based on an industrial policy. This is a country that has a centrally driven kind of an economy. They take technology, they subsidize, they use access to their own markets, and create an enormous amount of wealth and an imbalance with the United States, not based on basic economics.
A lot of people I hear say, well, the president doesn't really know the nuance of policy. He'll just get on the phone with someone and he'll blow up the negotiations. Or he doesn't really follow the nitty-gritty of things like trade or military policy. You're in all these meetings with President Trump on a weekly basis, sometimes a daily basis, given what's going on. I know you can't reveal what he says, but you can tell us, does he get these concepts? Is he into this?
Look, if you look what President Trump said when he was 35 years old and follow it to where he said what he's saying right now, it's the same thing. He understands the issues. When I'm in these meetings, it is a very strong give and take from a variety of people with interest. The president is beyond engaged. He cares about jobs and wages. Politics never comes up. And when he's not thinking about jobs and wages, it's wages and jobs. This is what he thinks about.
We really appreciate your coming on, spending some time.
Thank you, Laura. This is an extremely important issue. You're one of the very few people that is actually pushing it, and part of the reason is because it is complicated, but it's extremely important. And I'm honored to have had a chance to come out here and talk about it.
Ambassador Lighthizer, thanks so much.
Thank you.